Hello, my name is Carlos, and thank you for joining this session. I work for Visma, and some of you have heard of this company through the Jumbo Visma biking team. But well, we're a little bit more than top performing bikers and ice skaters around Europe. In Visma, we're proud of shaping the future through society through technology. So we provide mission critical software solutions to help our customers grow and help them stay compliant with local regulations. Within school administration, welfare technology, digital invoicing, among others. What we do is simplify and automate complex processes within areas like HRM, payroll, enterprise resource planning, procurement, school, kindergarten, and welfare systems. So we have a really strong local presence with over 150 locations. That gives us a diverse team of colleagues and local knowledge. And we have over 13,000 employees, including 5,000 highly engaged developers. We develop engagement through monthly surveys on topics such as inclusion, well-being, and individual development. Over a third of the employees in Visma are women, and that's something we're proud of. That is more than average in the industry, in the IT industry. Now, a little bit, what I will tell you today is a little bit of story of something that happened in 2015. And then my colleague Alex and I will tell you a little bit how we ensure that there is sustainability in this successful story. Back in 2015, the analytics offering in the Norwegian municipality sector was driven primarily by high project costs, massive maintenance, and staff dependency. So there was an opportunity within cloud. There was a community that demanded BI services, and also there was an internal competence in Visma. So my predecessor, Christian Berg, and he was the project manager for this solution at that time, and members of our current team in the Visma Labs Latvia office have developed and further improved the solution we have today. So why was MicroStrategy chosen? I take this slide from the archive again. It was secure, it was scalable, easy to maintain, and a unified architecture. And also there was a reusable metadata. So it was really high scorings in some of the key things that matter to us in Visma, like security, for instance. This is a project status slide from the archive. It was 6 months from kickoff to launch. Today we have over 80 customers and more than 4,000 users. I must say that without MicroStrategy's strong governance model, this would not have been possible to deploy in such a short period of time. Now, MicroStrategy today is still #1 in the use case for Gartner scoring on enterprise analytics. So the way MicroStrategy user model, the MicroStrategy user model, and also the way you control access to application functionality and access to data, and how you manage users and groups, that gives us a sense of security and control from a product management perspective. Now, this is the product that we have. It's an ERP system, cloud, called Visma Enterprise Plus. In it, we have embedded the business intelligence analytics. You can see a graph there from MicroStrategy, which we have labeled with our UX in Visma. Now, how have we ensured sustainability and continuous development of this BI solution? To explain that, I will touch upon a couple of areas of the quality management system loop at Visma. Our QMS is quite comprehensive, and it includes frameworks in all areas from sales, finance, human resources, planning, etc. Today, we'll talk about 2 frameworks, one within product development and one within operations and monitoring. So you see here 2 areas on the right-hand side that we will talk today. Now, the smaller of these 2 frameworks, yet very relevant to BI or business intelligence, is visualization. Now, starting from the QMS loop within product design, we take into account multiple dimensions and branding. For example, advocacy and community, language and tooling, UX studio. And from there, we have a UX value loop. The UX value loop consists of 6 steps, and within one of those steps, we use a set of principles and standards and frameworks. That is Stephen Few's books, one that Presto's BI dashboard design framework, and also international business communication standards. In a way, there is a data visualization butterfly effect, if you will, emerging from the QMS that has an impact in what we do. And you will see later today what I mean by this. If I talk first on the Stephen Few books, so at the minimum, we use his classical book showing the numbers to get a really good understanding of dashboard design and really principles that really need to be respected when we design dashboards and communicate data to our customers. From the Presto's BI dashboard design framework, he's a professor in a university in Norway. We ask questions like, is the dashboard cross-visually interactive? How far can you drill down? Do the colors have a meaning and are in line with our UX guidelines, including color blindness simulators that we use in Visma? Have we provided the end user the necessary context about the data in this dashboard? How many KPIs do we have in the screen? These are really critical questions that have a lot of research-based backing when we design. From IBCS, we use at the minimum what they have, what they call is the 99 rules for the proper design of successful reports, presentations, and dashboard. It's really useful to go through this when we do the designing of the dashboards that we provide today to our customers. Now, the other framework, this is the greater of these two frameworks that we will present today, is Cloud Delivery. And I'm proud to have my colleague Alexander, who can explain a little bit more in details about this.
Thank you, Carlos. I'm Alex. I'm going to talk about the Visma Cloud Delivery Model, which is what Carlos is using to develop and deliver and operate the enterprise BI solution. In fact, there's around 80 teams and products in Visma that's using this framework that we have developed over the past 5 years. It affects how we are organizing our product development teams. It provides guidance on what processes to use in development and testing and monitoring and handling incidents and other areas. And it contains guidelines and requirements that are about technology and how to use that as well. To make sure that we fulfill the customer expectations on what modern SaaS should be. So overall, it's a significant commitment to excellence when any team or any product is onboarded to this Visma Cloud Delivery Model. Now, one of the core principles is about how the team is organized and how the team works. And while in some organizations, you might have development as one activity in a development team, and you might have operations as another activity in a separate operations team, in Visma and in the Visma Cloud Delivery Model, we value DevOps a lot to make our teams more efficient and more effective. So we have service delivery teams that are end-to-end responsible for an entire product or parts of a product. And then that team has the ownership, the responsibility, and the competence, not only on development or only on operations, but on both and everything in between. Right? So these teams are responsible for development, testing, deployment, infrastructure, monitoring, handling incidents, and more. Related to this, we care a lot about engineering performance of Visma as a whole, of our companies, of our engineering teams. So that's also something that the Visma Cloud Delivery Model tries to support and facilitate, but also to measure. So all teams measure these metrics. Lead time and deployment frequency both are about the throughput of a development organization. How efficient and effective are you in producing customer value? How easy and friction-free is that process? While the three latter metrics here, change failure rate, time to restore, and availability, they are about reliability of the service, the quality of the service that comes out on the other end, and is what the customer, what the users experience. We're also providing a toolbox of assessments that the Visma Cloud Delivery Model teams go through on a regular basis. So for instance, the continuous delivery assessment contains a checklist of capabilities that we think our teams should have in place in order to be able to deliver customer value on a continuous and regular and frequent basis rather than once a month or something like that. Similarly, the API assessment, you might be able to guess, that's a checklist for how do we develop, design, operate APIs that are enjoyable to integrate with from an external developer's point of view. And there are many such assessment that covers good practices, best practices, or requirements in different areas. If we go to the next slide, we will see that we have the same thing on the security side of things, right? We have a security self-assessment that, among many other things, make sure that our teams fulfill or have good protections against the most common security vulnerabilities. Then we have a portfolio of many different types of tools that scan the source code that we write in Visma, but also third-party components that we import and reuse in our products. So, components like MicroStrategy has been through this battery of tests, including tools that looks at potential security vulnerabilities in MicroStrategy. We also have an internal penetration test team that will, try to attack our products, and they will report what they find. And we also, for many of our products, we onboard them to either private or public bug bounty programs, where we are paying hackers or security researchers to find problems in those products. And so far, we have not found any vulnerabilities related to MicroStrategy, which is pretty good. Now, all of these different tools that we provide on the architecture and technology side, on the security side, all of these things generate a lot of output, right? Security findings, vulnerabilities maybe that should be fixed, process improvements that could be made, etc., etc. So how do you keep track of all that? Well, we gather all that information into what we call the Visma Maturity Indexes, which is a tool that is available to everyone in Visma. So any team member, any stakeholder that works in Visma, any member of management, anyone can log into this Visma Maturity Index system, and they can kind of get a summary of all of these tools that I have talked about so far. So you can look at a specific product and see, okay, this is their ambition level. They want to, or they need to be platinum on security, but right now they might only be on gold. Why is that? What are they missing? Or, yeah, they are on platinum, which they should be, and they have done that for the past 200 days. Good job. So it's a way for, on a team level, to track their security maturity, see where they need to improve, and also for any other interested parties to pay attention to this. So in summary, the Visma Cloud Delivery Model sets a high standard for our teams and our products. And there is a certain level of support and follow-up centrally. But of course, the responsibility is always out in the different service delivery teams that are responsible for different products like Enterprise BI. And we have found MicroStrategy easy to align with these principles that we have, the processes that we have, and the tools that we have. So I think that's really good, speaks very well of MicroStrategy. Now, if you're interested in learning more about how we work in Visma, I encourage you to go to YouTube, search for Visma and DevOps, and you'll find this 40-minute presentation where I go into a bit more detail. Then I'll give the word back over to Carlos.
Thank you very much, Alex. That was a really, really good summary of the Visma Cloud Delivery Model that in which we exposed our BI solution. So the maturity index, which help us comply with all the demanding software delivery and operational performance requirements in Visma, has approximately 120 sources for maturity points. Imagine 120 points that we need to constantly monitor to make sure that we are compliant. So we go through, to support this, we go through about 8 annual reviews or assessments, and have continuous and alert-based monitoring as well. Now, without this shield, I must say that we will not be able to ensure the secure, reliable, and performance and responsive BI service that we have in a sustainable manner that is demanded by our customers. And we're happy to say that MicroStrategy meets, and in some cases even exceeds, these rigorous requirements. Now, all that said, there's something that I would like to mention here, because ultimately the impact of all these frameworks is what counts for us. And I would like to mention a quote from Stephen Field here, where he says, "The real value of a graph lies in the decisions being made from its content." So if we think about the input of the first lines of code that MicroStrategy may be writing to the output and the product that we received, and the outcome of which is basically the service that we sell to our customers, is not enough for us. I think what matters ultimately is the impact. So sometimes we ask a question: are we helping that municipality in the decision process of building a new nursing home? And the answer is yes, we help them. Then it really gives a better drive and encouragement to continue providing these services. Are we helping that kindergarten see if they will be short in staff within the next 2 weeks? And if so, then so that they can act on it timely. And these are the type of questions that we go through with our customers as well. Are we helping the local governments monitor the environmental targets that we have to preserve our great nature? So some of these key questions is that we ask to measure the impact, and that's what ultimately matters to us. And of course, we're happy to support and to make this solution sustainable with all these frameworks, and amongst those that we presented today. So thank you very much for taking the time to get to know Visma and our partnership with MicroStrategy. Have a great day.